Welcome my friends, this is Shadi Abu Yusuf and another episode of Frameworks. And in the previous two episodes, in the first one we talked about the speaking framework and we talked about the 5 stages of the speaking framework. And then in the second episode we looked at the speaking framework inside a course book. Now what we're going to deal with today is actually the speaking framework when you want to build up and design your own lesson, and especially using authentic material. And for that purpose I'm going to go to part 2 and part 3 in the IELTS exam, the speaking section. So let's see how we can take 2 exam tasks from the IELTS exam and turn these 2 exam tasks into a full speaking lesson. So let's do that. Now let me start by looking at the first exam task, okay, and part 2. Let's read it first. And again, when you want to use the speaking framework, the first step is that you read your speaking task carefully so that it guides you into designing everything in the 5 stages. So let's read the task first. And it says here, and this is an exam task by the way, it says describe a hotel that you know. You should say where this hotel is, what this hotel looks like, what facilities this hotel has. Okay, and explain whether you think this is a nice hotel to stay in. And then you will have to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes, you know, I mean the normal IELTS regulations. So that's part 2. Now let's go to part 3 and look at as well. And part 3 is actually discussion topics, staying in hotels again, and it says example questions. What things are important when people are choosing a hotel? Why do some people not like staying in hotels? Do you think staying in a luxury hotel is a waste of money? Right now, as a teacher, you want to create now your own lesson with your own material based on these 2 tasks. Now, as we said before in the speaking framework, step number 1 is leading. And again, I said before that leading can be of any form you like. So let me give you a quick example and let's go through the internet and search together to find a suitable leading. And imagine that you want your leading to be a picture. So what I'm going to write here in Safari, I'm going to write something like a wonderful hotel. And I am going to go to images and see what pops up. Oh, some wonderful things. I mean, oh, wow. There is a picture called Top 15 of the world's most fabulous hotel. Look at this, my friends. Wow. That is a lovely picture. It's kind of a hotel underwater. Now imagine that you can take this picture now at the very beginning of your IELTS speaking lesson, display that on the screen and say to your students questions like, what do you think that is? And then you elicit from them until someone would say a hotel and say, lovely, would you love to stay in a hotel like that? Why? And that would be your entrance, okay? And everybody now is interested, and then you can ask follow-up question like, what is your favorite hotel? What are the big hotel names you know? Which hotel would you love to stay in? And the questions would never end. And this is a kind of a leading using a picture, but that's not the only option, eh? Right, let's think of a leading using a video. YouTube, I guess, would be the best as long as we're looking for a video. So let's go to YouTube then. And a wonderful hotel. Let's say magic phrase, right? And see that there is a nice video.
If you desire an all 5-star service and experience, staying in a luxury hotel is the perfect way to sample the lifestyle of the rich. Featuring stunning architecture, world-class amenities, and fine dining, luxury hotels offer an exceptional experience for the elite. The hotels explored here are globally renowned as being the most...
Now, interesting. I mean, the reason why I demonstrated this right now is to show you that it's not a big deal to find a good leading for your topics. Again, as he said, a picture, a video in a minute. And again, well, someone might say, Shadi, you always talk about pictures and videos. I mean, let me show you something here. Let's get a quick quote. And again, all what you need to do is write a quote on hotels. And let's see what might pop up. Look, I mean, here is a saying. It goes like, it's expensive to live in hotels, even cheap ones, more expensive than renting. But then that can be a quote that you start with, and then you ask people, okay, what do you think? Do you agree with that saying? Yes or no? Are hotels expensive? And what would be a good replacement for a hotel? And then again, so you can choose any quote and then you can start your lesson with. So that's for a leading now. Now, as we talked before, in a speaking lesson, we start with leading and then we move to preparation. And we said before that preparation is giving students information that they can use later in the speaking task. Now, here in our scenario, we've got an IELTS speaking task about hotels, which means that our students need to know some information about hotels. So let's see how we can get, a reading passage from the internet about hotels. And again, same thing, let's Google it, as they say. And let's go and write here, the best hotel in the world. That could be a good idea. And let's see what kind of article. So I took the first link, the best hotel in the world. Let's have a look at this page. It says the best hotels in the world 2021 Reader's Choice Awards, eh? Oh, lovely. Wait a minute, let me just, magnify this a bit. For our 34th annual Reader's Choice Awards survey, registered voters weighed in on their favorite hotels around the globe. Lovely. That looks nice. And then we have the first one, Santa Caterina in Italy. Okay. According to one patron, there's nothing that does not dazzle. Oh, lovely. At the Santa Caterina. So we've got some hotels, okay, and a paragraph that follows each hotel. Now this gives me a very good idea. Why not take 5 or 4 hotels from this passage and put them on a page, turn that page into a handout, okay, and I can give it to my students with a question, and the question is, read about the 4 hotels and choose your favorite. And remember to mention 4 reasons why you have chosen this hotel. Okay, so now what have we done with this? First, we gave the students information, and then they're going to decide, and then they're going to discuss in pairs together what was your favorite hotel and why. And after they finish, now I know that they have good information about that. Now also, this is not the end of it. I can also use the very same passage for what? For getting some vocabulary that they can use in the speaking task, which would take us to the following stage. And let's remember together what the following stage is. It is useful language, because we talked about the first stage, leading, and then after leading we have preparation and then useful language now. So let me again look at the first paragraph. Look at this. Dazzle, that's a nice verb to use. Okay, and then we have, staggering and stunning, some very good descriptive adjectives that we can use when we're describing expensive hotels. Terraces, and we've got sprinkled, lovely. We've got citrus groves, okay, good. Assorted gardens, nice. Astonishing, regularity. I mean, all these words can be difficult vocabulary that you can provide students with in the useful language part. We've got interiors, okay, lovely. So a lot of wonderful vocabulary can be taught. Someone might say, but Shadi, how are we going to teach that vocabulary? Are we going to turn this lesson into a vocabulary lesson? So we're going to focus on vocabulary and we go through meaning, pronunciation, form. I would say design an activity, like a matching activity, for example, where students would need to match the adjective with the definition. So try to put these new vocabulary items into controlled practice activities so students can answer and then they check in person and then you give them feedback. Right? Don't try to waste too much time on teaching vocabulary here, because that's not your main aim. You're coming to teach your speaking and you're coming to focus on part 2 and part 3 from the speaking part in the IELTS exam. Right? Good. Now, after we've done this, so look again. So we created our own leading and we got that just authentic material from the internet. And then we got to the preparation stage, a lovely passage from the internet, okay? And then we go to the third part, which is what? The useful language. Where did we take the useful language from? From the passage that we took from the internet. So everything is in harmony. And then after that, we get to the tasks and we have part 1, okay, students do it in pairs and then they exchange and then we give feedback, and then after that they move to part 3 and then they do it together, the exchange. So one student would be the examiner, the other student would be the examinee, and then they start the meeting and then they finish and then they swap, and that's how you go on about it. And then we come to the final stage, which is feedback, as I talked in the previous 2 episodes. Content feedback followed by language feedback. Now, but we talked here about a preparation that is based on a reading passage. Let's try to find on the internet, okay, a listening text that can be used for the preparation stage on a topic like this one. And what I would do simply, I'll go to YouTube and I'll try to find a video of someone talking about hotels. I wrote that on YouTube, and let's say, let me change that, right? An interview with a hotel manager. Let's see if we can find a video on something like that. Maybe we might find something. Oh, so we've got here an interview.
Myself, my name is Matthias Sutter. I'm born in Switzerland in a little town close to Zurich. It's called Oberembrach. Together with my 3 siblings, my parents, in a little village which has about 682 people living there. This is a town where actually everybody greets each other by name when you walk on the street. That's actually a very good question, and I've been asked that many times because I started the hotel management school when I was...
Nice. So why not bring a video like this one or other videos that look like this one, about someone speaking about hotel management, about the best hotel in the world, why this hotel is better than the other hotel. And then you take that, play it as an audio. I mean, you don't have to display the video on the screen, you know, and then design questions based on that video. Like you might say something to your students like, I want you to watch this video, or I want you to listen to this track. A manager is speaking about his hotel, what makes his hotel so special, and then students listen and then they answer questions. Now what you've got is a full lesson that you have made and structured yourself. And you only depended on the internet and only one task from the IELTS exam, and you end up having a wonderful lesson. Students were involved in the lesson during the leading stage. Then they were well prepared by giving them information through either reading or listening. And then after that, you gave them useful language from either this listening track or the reading passage. And then you got them to speak and finally feedback. So that was a quick video on how to use the speaking framework in designing your own material. And the example we used this time was part 2 and part 3 from the IELTS exam. Thank you very much. And don't forget to wait for our coming video. And also don't forget to follow my YouTube channel. And the coming video would be about another framework, a writing framework, the product approach. So until we meet again, that was Shadi Yusuf. Bye bye, see you.